Welcome, everybody. Will and Max here. We're going to talk about today, holy smokes, another support for XRP reaching a $10,000 price tag. This is an update, and we want to bring these updates to you because people want to see that it can go to 10,000, and some people disagree, and we want to show proofs in the pudding about some of the information that we found. And we're going to cover some stuff that comes from Smoke on X.com. Then some other things we found. We're going to talk about some ETF filings and go into a little bit of the numbers, and then hopefully, encourage you towards the idea of $10,000 XRP is possible. So before we get started with that, we like to introduce to you the Decent Wallet. It helps both of our channels. So we'll go ahead and introduce that, and then we'll be right back with you. And Max will get started with some information from Smoke. If you own crypto, you need a self-custody wallet. I've chosen the Decent Wallet after owning several different wallets. I believe you will like it too. Use the link in the description. Purchase from my site. It does help support the channel. I appreciate it.
All right, welcome back. So we're going to jump into the material from Smoke. It's going to come up on your screen here in a bit. And basically speaking, it's the first mention about why an XRP ETF is next. And as this pulls up, it's like understanding, again, the bigger picture. Smoke does it better than just about anybody when it comes to research. He states that the imminence and necessity of an XRP ETF has been heavily documented by, of course, institutions. They're ahead of the curve. Why an XRP ETF is next? Well, again, I'm going to jump into these key findings. And he pulls up quite a few things here, but even Washer Guru back on the 8th of this month talked about how Ripple president says spot XRP ETF is likely to be next in line after Bitcoin and Ethereum. Brad Garlinghouse, of course, addressed everybody today, earlier this morning, and did mention a little bit about the whole thing of the XRP ETF. But even with Smoke's findings, again, it's a reference. So here's the thing. When we talk about some of these ones about Ripple for a better international payments experience. Interest in crypto ETF has been booming. Well, you see Deutsche Börse with a total expense ratio of 1.95%, but it goes on to mention that Ripple is rapidly becoming a leader in global payment systems. And that's from Bradley Duke, co-founder, or I should say founder and CEO of ETC Group. If you get further down into this, you will see this statement from Hector McNeil, co-founder and co-CEO of Han ETF, states interest in exchange-traded cryptocurrencies has been booming, of course, providing investors with a safer and more liquid way to gain exposure to digital assets. Not everybody is on the same page as us with our research. You got to keep in mind when we talk about this mass adoption, you got to get people who don't even know the use case about some of this and bringing it to them. It's in what? A form of ETF. Yes, that's retail money, but still, that's a lot of liquidity. As we jump further into this, another citation from Smoke, doubling down on why an XRP ETF makes sense. What does he have? The crypto market is maturing rapidly. With the rise of crypto ETFs, derivatives, and institutional participation, we are witnessing the mainstream acceptance of course, digital assets. That is the whole thing of like maturing asset class, like what it looks like. But retail investors chase the idea of a quote unquote moonshot, yet they often miss the significance of the foundation being laid right before them. I mean, let's face it, we realize a lot of you guys watching, nothing against you, you only care about price, not so much about the research. So does this make sense? Yes, it does. Here's a reference. Bitcoin ETF, which drove massive price action throughout 2024, is a perfect example of this. It led to Bitcoin's sharpest price increase ever, pushing it to all-time highs even before the halving. Very true. Look it up for yourself, but whatever the case be, it's logical that XRP, a favorite among institutions like myself and Will Fix, even maybe some of you guys, is poised to follow suit with its own ETF exposure, especially considering it's currently priced, at least then it was 60. Now it's like what? Sometimes over $3. Again, how long was this at 50 cents? And then now we're at, way higher evaluations with the ETF turbochargers. I think it would. Here's another reference from Smoke, pounding it home. Grace scale. XRP Trust pays the way for XRP ETF. This is documented, everybody. I couldn't agree more. Giving the XRP Trust special significance. And look what it says. The whole thing, of course, with the court case, it kind of seems like we're finally out of the woods, are we? But look what it says here. While trusts are restricted to accredited investors and hence face lighter regulatory scrutiny, you have to keep in mind Grayscale's strategy of converting its Bitcoin trust into an ETF opened the floodgates for crypto spot ETF launches, giving XRP Trust special significance. Right. So if it worked for Bitcoin, why wouldn't it work more for something that works a lot more faster, more, let's face it, reliable, less fees, and it's going to do real-time gross settlements with finality in 3 to 5 seconds, which of course brings us to this part. And this is where Will apparently is going to take it away. So, Will, XRP ETF filings. What do you have?
Yes, sir. Yes. So let me share on the screen real fast. Let's see here. Let me get this shared. All right, I want to share this screen with you. I asked Brock to do a review of the Bitcoin ETFs and the money that went into them. So real quickly, you can see here, it's talking about the iShares, the Fidelity Wise, Grayscale, Bitwise, the ARC, and all these different ETFs. I didn't add all of them up, so I added up just about half of them. And I want you to know that after you translate those billions of dollars into how much does that mean as far as XRP coins, then it translates into about 6 billion coins at $3.25. So if there was no big price movement and these were purchased, which is probably not possible, but just for the sake of being able to talk about it, we got to start somewhere. So 6 billion taken off the table. And as you guys know, on the market that's available for cross-border transactions, there's approximately 46 billion that could be purchased. Escrow probably isn't going to be included in that because I don't believe that Ripple would bankrupt themselves and get rid of their coins. They want those to go up in price and have operating capital to do things just like anybody else. So they're not going to forsake all of those for cross-border transactions. So I suppose that the 46 billion that's available is the pool that they can draw from, that banks and institutions want to draw from. Well, if you take 6 billion off of the table, that's around 12-13% increase that would be necessary to move the same amount of money. In other words, if 46 billion was going to move X amount of money for cross-border transactions, whenever you take 6 billion coins off the table and put them in ETFs, then you've just increased the necessity price of XRP to go up at least 12% more to move the same amount of money. So no matter what the price of XRP is, you can consider a 12% rise, and you're not including in that the retail moves. Because as soon as the price starts moving up, what's going to happen? Banks and institutions that foresee, holding on to some XRP for gains would end up purchasing more. And just like retail would end up purchasing more. So the price driver, I don't know what effect that would be. Would it be double that? Would it be a 25% rise just from the ETFs? So it's just more evidence towards a price, not a goal, but being able to achieve a $10,000 per XRP price becomes more and more possible as time goes on because of things like automated market maker, like ETFs, like people holding on to it for store of value, like banks and institutions being able to put it on their balance books. All of the things that that come together, like tokenization of real world assets. I noticed today Brad Garlinghouse talked about they didn't jump on the bandwagon of everything. They focused on what they thought would be lasting. One of those things is the tokenization of real world assets. And if they use XRP for that, that's also XRP removed from the pool, available for cross-border transactions, transferred over to XRPL, then that's the way that goes. So just more evidence that we see, Max, of it is possible for XRP to go to 10,000 because the growth of XRP and Ripple are helping to facilitate that by reducing the amount of available tokens for cross-border transactions.
Very good, sir. You know, something else that we had briefly on the screen that we want to share with you, just to kind of pound home what Smoke was mentioning, and then, of course, elaborate a little bit more on what Will was mentioning, is what you're going to see here. And basically, it's this. It's the XRP ETF filings. It's a great reference, even from a Bing search. Some of you guys use Bing instead of Google. What's it say? Well, XRP ETF filings have been submitted by several asset management firms, including WisdomTree, 21 shares, Bitwise, which of course Smoke has cited that, and Canary Capital. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse notes surging institutional interest in XRP amid these filings. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan believes XRP's potential remains untapped due to regulatory hurdles. And of course, this is a finding from Will. And if anything, while it's on the screen, Will, would you like to explain this real quick?
Yeah, I just noticed this and I thought, wow, sometimes there's impacts that happened to ETFs just based on other market conditions. So here you have, despite the DeepSeek threat and market crash, crypto ETFs saw significant investment inflows reaching nearly $2 billion in 2 weeks. Bitcoin ETFs led inflows, exceeding $1.6 billion, with Fidelity and BlackRock's funds attracting the most. So here we just have that proof and just showing that market conditions can also cause ETFs to fill up with money. You can have the capital markets, money shifts around at times. And when they see an asset winning and they see an asset losing, in other words, if the stock market's losing, but the crypto ETFs are gaining, but you got the Nasdaq and the other markets having problems. It's easy to see that the ETFs, if they're winning, could draw more money. Well, there you go, right? What happens when that happens? Well, the more money that gets invested into an ETF, the ETF managers have to purchase more XRP at whatever price it is. And they don't have a choice. If money comes into the ETF, the backing asset has to be purchased. And then you have the remaining pool in this scenario of 40 billion that banks and institutions get the flip switched where they can purchase it. They don't care about price either. So they're not shopping for it. They're trying to move money. This scenario is really super bullish scenario for the price of XRP. And so when I look at this, again, doubling down, that's what this video is about, is it possible for XRP to get a price of $10,000 per XRP? I say yes.
Very good, sir. Listen, earlier you had the whole thing of a calculator. Did you want to get into that with what you found in regards to some of those particular calculations?
I can't open that up right now and punch those figures in because I'm not prepared to do that. But why don't we do that in the next update?
Sounds good. In closing, we're going to wrap it up with this. And again, it's just the icing on the cake, because some people kind of want to see another source other than just Will and Max and, Smoke and so on. Obviously, Smoke does great research, but I want to pound this home. To finalize everything, it is this from this particular site. So what is it? Well, basically, it's the imminence of this. And as it pulls up on the screen, you're going to see what I like to refer to as the icing on the cake. As we full screen it, it says there's a 70% chance XRP Ripple gets an ETF approval this year. Now, of course, this is at the beginning of the month, but this comes from Polymarket. And you can see here, interesting, because you know what? I think it's all worth pointing out. And again, if you want to look more into this, you can. Interesting to see other, publications and sources other than just having a few different opinions. So glad to share it with you guys with the report from myself and the one and only Will Fix. Simply do us a favor if you listen to the entire outline and type this key term into the comments, and that is smoke hopium, and we'll know that you listened to the entire outline. On my behalf of myself, Will, and special shout out to Smoke, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.